Hello, good evening, everyone. This is the third and final Iron Chef deck review. For those who don't know what this is, I've been doing a few contests of late where I put a link on UVS Ultra with 6 cards in the sideboard, and the challenge is to build a deck using 4 of them. These all share 2 symbols, so today it could be a Chaos or a Water deck. And to list the 6 cards, we didn't do on the first take, don't worry about
Yep, very true.
it. we have Catching a Ride, Mall Day, Giant Bite Detention, Honorable Forfeit, Sticky Ball Pitch, and Trap Flex. And these cards largely don't really have anything to do with each other for the most part, and that's kind of the fun. These are all cards that have seen a little bit of use here and there, maybe haven't been used, but have gotten some talk about them, like, oh, that card looks good or whatever. So it was kind of interesting to see what people would come up with this. And helping me judge today is Chris Smith from Universes Academy. Hi, Chris.
How's it going? Hey, thanks, Tim, for having me on. I'm looking forward to it. I know I did the first one, the Mount Lady Challenge, and it was a blast, and I look forward to seeing some really cool decks today.
Yeah, so we had 12 entries this time, a bit of a step down because this is the third one. People have been through this a couple times now. And the winner is going to get a box of Heroes Clash First Edition. So
Always good to pull a Chrome Rare. I have not yet. Sad face, but yeah.
Yeah, if someone pulls a Chrome Rare from one of these boxes, they have to let me know. Basically, I got more boxes of Hero Clash and Prizing than I was interested in opening because I pre-order a bunch. So we do this instead. And we'll see, what my supplies of future sets look like. If I get overloaded again, we'll bring this back, right? So yeah, without further ado, let's get to talking about the decks. We will list out a top 5 as we go, and then we will declare a winner, and that'll be a wrap. So, 12 decks. First one, very representative. We have a Sero 2 from Pelon 14. We had 5 Sero 2s. So there's going to be like little bits of differences, but...
Yeah. Lots of tape.
Yeah.
Definitely. I guess going into the deck, first notable thing, it uses Acid Corrosion Breach as one of the attacks. That's kind of interesting and creative. It allows him to, if he has momentum from Sticky Ball Pitch, to be able to, I believe, I haven't read this card in forever. Yeah, you get to add that moment. You get to add Sticky Ball Pitch face down to get +2/+2, and then you can just kind of pick it back up with the bottom enhance, which is kind of neat. That's a kind of neat little thing.
Yeah, and I like the sludge interaction with Sticky Ball Pitch here, right? There's certainly making use of the idea of always having momentum. And the reason, to be clear, that we have all these Sero 2s is because of Catching a Ride's response. After you activate Sero 2 to kick a card from their card pool, you get to clear a card from your card pool. So yeah, you get to engage in these longer strings. Something that's going to be a common theme with these Sero decks is damage output being kind of questionable.
Yeah.
So we have Ice Storm. We have Giant Bite Detention in this one. This one is playing Giant Bite Detention, Sticky Ball Pitch, Honorable Forfeit, and Catching a Ride as its 4 out of the 6 cards.
Ooh, that's kind of neat. I guess the response on Tentacle Strike still works with Sero 2.
Yes, it does. Cool. Yeah. You get to super clear your card pool. Like
wow, that's neat. Okay.
Yeah, I like this list a fair bit.
Up.
Yeah,
It
is. It seems to be counting a lot on dropping from above for damage, and I don't know how much I like that. A couple of these lists have some prone to dry eyes, which I think makes a lot more sense for what we're doing here. This has a high block, and we'll see some water high block struggles here as well.
Yeah, very much. It does play Nullify, which is kind of cool. I'm a big Nullify fan. I know some people hate on it because it's a 3-diff action that kind of just sits there in the middle of the turn, not like the old cancel card from Standard Revoke where it just remove itself after use it. But I like that card. But I believe the whole point is that this one did not make our top 5 because of damage output. Sticking point.
Yeah, basically we went through these shows, and this one's not as bad as some of the others because you do have Corrosion Breach in here, but it feels difficult for any of these Seros to kill someone that's like engaging with them, and there's not. Yeah, you can kind of punish blocks by giving a thing 3 speed.
Yep.
But it's tough. It's tough to win a game 4 damage at a time. And this one's a little bit better than that, but without prone to dry eyes or some damage boosting besides dropping in from above. Because otherwise, it's got some speed hate. It's got the ice glidings. It's got the 3 surviving the finals. But
Yeah.
it on the viability metric, we rate these on sort of creativity, viability, and how well you're using the ingredients. And most of these hero decks use all the ingredients pretty well because honorable forfeit kind of makes sense. These decks are usually running a range of attack zones. Catching the ride we talked about before, and Giant Bite Detention actually here is a little awkward because Tentacle Strike removes itself from the card pool.
Yeah,
so is Sticky Ball Pitch going to be your second attack? That's a little rough.
Yeah. And then Acid Corrosion.
Acid Corrosion Breach is a non-bow, as well.
Yeah, so it just puts so
yeah,
I don't know
you can clear the Tentacle Strike after you combo Giant Bite, but it's not the easiest thing to activate in the world in this list. And it's making like some use of Sticky Ball Pitch more than some other lists do. But ultimately, it's not quite our favorite Sero 2.
Correct.
But pretty cool overall.
Yep, very cool. Moving on.
Next we have Pippa.
To Pippa's list. Pippa always comes up with the coolest lists. We love Pippa's lists.
Yes, this is Pippa Sero 2. This one is a somewhat nicer card count at 56 cards. We do have the Prone to Dry Eyes here. I'd love to see 4 Prone to Dry Eyes, but at least we have 2.
I do like the inclusion of Cheerleader in our list, just because you're going to be getting the momentum from Amphibious Ambush and Sticky Ball Pitch, and it's not just laying it all on Ice Storm for like a giant hit. So at least it gives you some survivability.
Yeah.
She is playing a. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. I'd love to see like more Cheerleaders even. Because in contrast to the last one, this one it's 2 Cheerleaders and 3 Ice Storms. That's what we're doing with our momentum, and that is it. We have 10 sources of guaranteed momentum.
Oh yeah.
So we really, really want to find one of those 3 Ice Storms, basically. Which, if you do, it's really effective, right?
Oh yeah. Especially adding 3 speed and making it not being able, not being able to block by attacks. So that's always really good. Honorable Forfeit's pretty good in here still. She's playing a bunch of different zones, so that's never going to be a bad thing, especially with the Amphibious Ambush combo. And then it looks like a lot of the normal Sero 2 stuff with card pool clogging and just making it really hard for your opponent to block stuff.
Yeah, Trap Flex is a nice lead here. We don't have to worry about the awkwardness of Giant Bite Detention. We just sort of play this thing. It's often going to be, it can be a 7 damage throw. It can be, 6 damage with basic training. It can be 8 damage, whatever. I believe you can even first villain encounter it if you want to make it odd damage. So Trap Flex not bad here. But overall, just because this has the Prone to Dry Eyes and has sort of a path to dealing a bunch of damage, we did pick this out for our top 5 as our sort of favorite Sero list. Also notable, also notable here that this is deep in the high block struggles.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. In pre-game.
There's gonna be a few of those, but yeah.
I mean, you are playing the tape, so you can make a high, a mid.
Yeah. The tape is there as sort of a recognition that that's what's going on here, right?
Yeah, and if you are facing a ranged high deck, you can always throw Sticky Ball Pitch at it to block it, and it deals no damage. So you got that at least too.
Yeah. All right. Next we have a non-Sero list. Fumikage Tokoyami 2 from No Sleep Scrub. All right, Chris.
Yes.
This one was
okay. So this one was high on my list because, for one, it's Bird 2 because I hate Bird 1 and I love Bird 2, just personal preference. Using Malday to pick up something and then flipping it out for Summon Dark Shadow, or maybe a piece of your combo for Giant Bite Detention sounds really neat. So it kind of fuels your game plan and of being able to just lay on attacks as needed. I do like it has the Trap Flex for more damage. I would have liked to see the other the one we talked about, the one mid Dark Shadow slash or whatever, just to make use of the Summon Dark Shadow more. But I get why he's playing cavalry chariot advance because it does put some speed on some stuff, but
Yeah. Notably, we have
you know,
Catching a Ride as one of the 4 cards we're playing in
yeah.
this list, and
Mhm.
unless they speed hate us, it's not really doing anything.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a little awkward, but the Malday usage is really cool.
Yeah.
You replace the Malday with a hopefully not adding to progressive summon Dark Shadow. I don't understand why there's 3 ruins here and not 4, but you know,
I don't know. I don't know.
you're
I think
allowed to
that's
do
a
that, I
little.
suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather do that over maybe one of the talons,
Yeah,
or cut a pigeon flock for it. But I know pigeon flock's pretty important.
yeah. But
Um,
there's a pretty cool 1-speed Dark Shadow Slash move that we were
yeah.
talking about earlier that would have made sense here. But overall, very cool. I think we've both seen some Tokuyami 2s in action, and it's almost more of a like 6 hand size problems concern. So like when he gets the good draws, they do work.
Yes. Yeah. And I think Malday kind of helps
And
him
Malday
out
helps
with
a
that a
lot,
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah. I would have liked to see, was it Shadow's Aid in here just to help out with that, hand size problem.
Hmm.
I would have liked to see that, especially if you're playing Command Pigeon Flock, you get to build it for free.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so,
But
maybe over UA High, but I know UA High is
UI
really
is really
cool
good,
because,
yeah.
yeah, it's really good in him because you get to add an attack to hand. So,
To go
I
find
guess,
that Dark Shadow rune. Yeah.
yeah, go shine the ruin,
But yeah,
yeah, I liked it a lot. I
yeah.
think it's a really
Overall,
cool
yeah,
deck.
pretty cool deck, and we went ahead and put this in our top 5. The underscore. There we go. I'm typing it out. Chris can't see me typing badly.
I can't see Tim typing anything out. He could just be saying Chris's hat is super cool.
All right, so the next one we have Fade's Mina Ashido 2 list, and this one, certainly looking to make use of Malday going to the card pool face down and not adding to progressive. Kind of a relatively obvious direction to go with it, but one to try for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things I like about this list is that we're working the Catching a Ride. We are playing float combo
Oh yes.
to try to have Acid Corrosion Breach or Giant Bite catch a ride off of it, and that's pretty cool.
Yes.
The awkward thing is that Giant Bite Detention
Bite
is not going to combo if you have any face downs in your card pool.
So my quick question to you is for this real quick. For Catching a Ride, immediately preceding, so if there's a face down in between the 2 attacks, does it still work? It
No,
still works?
it will not work, no.
It will not work because that's not immediately preceding, so that's kind of
Right.
awkward a little bit.
Yeah. The face downs kind of trip up some of the stuff that's going on here.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Mina 2 float combo. The other thing is Giant Bite Detention doesn't have one of her keywords on it.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world. It still deals 7, but it's a very awkward inclusion here. As cool as the Malday is, and Ball Pitch is also just kind of.
Well, Ball Pitch is kind of cool because you can throw it, and then you have Acid Corrosion.
Yes, it's
Breach
guaranteed breach momentum.
and Cheerful Uppercut momentum. So if you want to throw it for a 5 low for 9, that's not terrible.
Yeah, having the momentum for breach is actually a big deal for Mina too. So that's pretty useful here. It's mostly just the Giant Bite being kind of awkward. Other than that, and this is I know Chaos has a lot of good zero diffs. This is a lot of zero diffs.
Jesus, I distorted by difficulty. Oh my gosh, you were correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we have Release and Graceful as sort of our only defense, which kind of happens. And we have Cool Student. We have 4 struggling. I shouldn't be too hard on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty neat deck. Just kind of a little too self-defeating the Giant Bite for us.
Yeah. That was the sad part. I was like, oh man, Mina 2, and it's like, oh, Giant Bite. It's really hard to pull off.
Yeah. So next we have Berlander's Minoru Mineta 2.
The only Mineta 2, surprisingly. I actually thought there was going to be a little more Mineta 2, just because you chose like 4 of his cards. Technically Trap Flex isn't one of his cards, but the Mineta 2 decks I've seen locally, they play Trap Flex because, I don't know why, because it's a throw, because they're crazy, and they always build out fewer than their rival for some random reason. So they love to hate on people's stuff. But yeah, kind of really neat with the honorable forfeit, but again, you're probably only going to be playing 2 attacks a turn unless you get super lucky on the Malday. you know, or
Yeah.
or the self-assured destroy to draw a card for all the ranged attacks that you're playing. Um,
Yeah, forfeit a little awkward in here. Malday's fine,
yeah,
right? You're meta,
yeah.
you're looking for attacks.
Mm-hmm.
You're in these long game states where you kind of don't mind the progressive going on.
True.
But,
True.
overall, it's a Mineta deck. It's here to throw people to death. Cat Punch is pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because you can add Balde face up. Oh wait, that's a different card. That's a Mandalay card. My bad.
Yeah.
That's the Mandalay card. Well, this at least Cat Punch allows you to draw more cards because they're probably not going to get hit by a 6 damage attack.
You're gonna lob it. Yeah, you're gonna force them to block it.
Yeah.
Ball toss tackles, I think, a little underplayed, but so kind of nice to see that in here. And of course, we have the tongue whips and the cheerfuls. Kind of classic Mineta 2 stuff. Certainly reasonably likely to be effective. Kind of a straightforward choice, but a pretty good one. There's some stuff in here that's kind of a little bit neat to see. So we went ahead and this made our top 5 for Verlander.
Yeah, I think Mineta 2, you can, I don't know, although I have troubles building Mineta 2. I don't know how people do it because I always want to try to play him at like 20 attacks and I always see him with like 23, 24. So I must be building 5-handers wrong. So
yeah, because because you need to, if you ever have a turn where you don't draw an attack Mineta 2, they gain a foundation, right?
True. That's true.
You don't get to say feed me.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just I guess I'm just All Might 3 guy. I just can't build anything else but All Might 3.
The cards.
I just need to see all my cards. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
All right, so next we have definitely a Bot Zero 2, and we're gonna start to see some similarities. This one we have Frigid Heat Wave, which is cool.
This one also played Sports Festival Stadium.
Yeah, we have the 1X Sports Festival. Yep. Other than the Frigid Heatwave line, this one's running Malday and Catching a Ride. Catching a Ride, of course, clearing the card pool. We have the cheerleaders on this one. This is another cheerleader. Ice Storm is our only momentum out set up, I believe. I don't see any cool students or anything like that.
I do not either.
Yeah, so not a little bit better off on the high blocks. We're actually running Feeling Cute and Frozen in this one, but no Prone to Dry Eyes. No, both of them. No, no real damage in sight. Just kind of hoping to plink them, until maybe an Ice Storm at some point.
I mean,
Tape Stream Dab adding to the 4 damage count.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't just rely on basic training to do all your damage.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, and the angle here is that you're gonna try to slow them down. You have some breaker blocks, and you only 1x sticky balls even on defense. It just doesn't seem as likely to get there as some of the other ones.
Yeah,
not a whole lot to say about too many of these Sarahs at this point. There's going to be a couple more too.
At least his 4s or 5s if he has Sports Festival out, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably part of what Sports Festival's there for. It could be Chrome. Yeah, Sarah draws a lot of cards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, easily, yeah.
All right, next we have Mr. Final Max's Koji Koda.
Man, I was excited to see Koji Koda, and then I looked at the attacks, and there's not a whole lot of allies. We're playing.
There's a few. There are 6 non-allies.
Yeah, there's 6 non-allies, but I want all my attacks to be allies. In Koji Koda. Granted that I play 1.3 million volts in mine, but
yeah. There's usually the one non-ally that you're just sort of sticking at the end. It's very often 1.3. We can see that he was thinking about it because it's floating around here. So this one opted for Trap Flex, Giant Bite, which makes sense in Koda. Malday, which is kind of cool for Koda because you can make it not count towards progressive.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You are correct. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's a huge one. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's
Catching
neat.
a Ride is pretty blank. We can make our Cat's Claw face grab 4 speed.
Yeah.
Which is so. This is a bit of a miss here.
I would have liked to see Award the Victor in this deck because in my Koji Koda deck, I love to hit with Giant Pite Detention and then stack it, form draw it, and then play it again. It's an easy because one thing he lacks is damage, and that helps you get there by replaying attacks in the same turn. You know?
Yeah, and this deck isn't particularly doesn't have a whole lot of damage. I do not understand why Freezer Burn's in here. I'm sure there's reasons around, like, well, he's going to ready foundation so I can keep making more things, ignore non-prog and whatnot. But
True.
That's sort of the biggest thing that stands out is that, as aside from catching rod being a miss, is that Freezer Burn is very bizarre here. As are like 4X League interviews, we are milling ourselves a lot, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know why.
If there's a purpose behind it. I mean, we want to get our Friends of Animals in our discard pile, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there is that. But this seems like more than you actually need. But cool to see Coda show up. Could be a little bit more refined, but pretty nice.
Definitely.
Shout outs for 50 cards.
Shout out. Yeah. Okay. Shout outs for Min. Oh
Yeah.
no. Yeah, I'm a big Coda fan, and yeah, just didn't make the grade.
All right. Next we have Remolard's Death Arms list,
Yeah,
and this
deck is cool.
This was striking to see because I have tested something a little bit like this.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Obviously not exactly like this because I'm not forced to run a bunch of Iron Chef cards, but you know, there's something in this space has been floating around my HLC candidates list. I don't think it's quite there. I don't think I'm quite gonna bring it, but he's got some stuff going on. So Death Arms his defense is crazy, right? He point committing to your 2 best foundations every turn is really good, and depending on your symbol, you have different ideas for how you're going to make up for the fact that you're blowing 1 up every turn. On Chaos, you have a million 0 diffs.
Yes, very true.
And so it's very easy for you to build out after attacking. And the catch is your offense on Chaos isn't quite as exciting as some of the other symbols, but you do have throws. You have Zero Gravity Lift and Trap Flex, which was one of the challenge cards here, that you can play to, sooner or later you will win.
It is that, what do we call it? Inevitability.
Yeah.
Inevitability. Yep. I know that I've been looking at Death Arms off and on since he was released, previewed, and I just have never gotten around to building him because everyone else is building him, so I just get their experience off of it. He's one of those really, really neat characters that allows you to survive that, what the kids call that turn 2 death stare from
you're not dying on 2.
You're not dying on 2. I do like the use of honorable forfeit because you are playing a bunch of different zones, and a big chunk of your attacks are 5 diffs. Excuse me. I think that's really neat to see.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Electric Jolt in here. This is a bit of a doubling up on Death Arm's ability. Some testing would be needed to see whether it's really necessary or not, but I understand the inclusion. It makes sense. Giant Bite as the second 4 diff. We can't buff it, but it's still huge.
Yeah.
And, the Enhanced Shuffle 3 is good utility right now, right? That is a pretty good effect in myriad cases right now. And it is hard to pass a string of 5, so you can wind up playing some 4s in these lists, and Giant Bite seems about as good as one as any. We have a fair number. We have 8 other high attacks, and we're running all 3 of the Iron Chef attacks here.
And I do like with the momentum outlets with shock treatment is a huge one.
Yes.
Cool Student's really neat.
Cool Student's big for Death Arms, yeah.
It's big for Death Arms, yeah. I don't think we have anything in our attack that use momentum.
We have the Wallop. We have the EX on Sticky Ball Pitch, which is now 8 damage.
Electric Jolt too can also be EX'd out if you really want to EX a 4 diff. Yeah.
Maybe not quite that exciting. But
not exciting at all.
We have some momentum outlets. We have the the one with Nature Chef things, and we're playing some Irrefutables just in case there's they play something on their turn that we need to deal with. We have ETP. We have some Premier Speed. Hey, only 2 releases because we can't really afford to blow up that much. True. I'm kind of missing Graceful here a little bit, but I understand you're trying to fit the chef cards in here.
I do like All Worked Up as a a blow up +1, which is kind of nice. Kind of adds to that. Hey, we're playing a bunch of 5s, and it allows us to pass strings.
But yeah, so overall, pretty cool. Death Arms list a little bloated. We try to be at least a little bit cognizant of how big some of these Iron Chef lists are, just because it's you can make an 80 card deck that's playing these 4 different cards that aren't doing anything in the list, and it doesn't look as bad. Oh, look all this cool stuff we have, but
you got to give him something. He is even across his block
Yeah.
spread, though.
Yeah, the meticulously evened out block spread.
It's very nice.
It seems
Very
very
nice.
on purpose and probably unnecessary, but it's funny to see.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes,
yeah,
it
so
is.
we did put this list in our top 5 for Friendly
Yep.
Millards, Death Arms. All right, 4 more to go here.
4 more.
We have
Oh yeah, he had Battle Arena too. Ooh, that's cool. All right, sorry. Next list.
yeah,
My bad,
Battle
sorry.
Arena. Yeah, that's more check passing. The
Yeah, more
old
check-
old.
Oh yeah.
All right, one boomer
wow.
boomer reference Bernstein Stadium. All right.
Oh yeah. We got another Hontasero 2 from David Toombs. 25 attacks.
Yeah.
But he is playing prone to dry eyes at least.
Yes, we have 1x prone to dry eyes. We have quantity over quality. We were just talking about deck size, and there's a lot of cool cards here, but man, decide which ones you want. I love it, but like, man, I appreciate the momentum outlets, right? We have Cinder Convection, Giant Ice Wall, and Tape Swing all spend momentum. This is and the Ice Storm. We didn't include Cheerleader.
Oh, we got Giant Ice Wall. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
no Cheerleader.
Yeah, we didn't play Cheerleader in our 70 card deck, but we didn't find room for that one. But we have uses for momentum, which is very nice compared to some of the other ones. But yeah, it's kind of just all. It's a lot of 2x's. I'm not really sure what. Even in the foundations.
I would have loved to see Rescue completed down to a 1x and played more Dry Eyes.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying about all these Sarah lists. Is where Sarah is very similar to Eraserhead 2, in that he's buffing speed and drawing cards the more they block. Right? It's actually very, very similar dynamic, and he's a slightly different disruptive ability. But for all the same reasons, Prone to Dry Eyes is good in Eraserhead 2. It's good in Sarah 2. But you know, other than the sort of the Gigantor size and the kind of relative indecisiveness over, you know, what we're actually doing here.
Yeah, because I get that
we have the tentacle strikes, and that's cool.
Yeah, like it's a bunch of ranged attacks, and I don't.
Yeah,
there's a
Frigid is kind of not here. Well, Giant Bite's not a range though.
No,
it does get tricky, but
yeah. I do like the Invisible Infiltration, but that's just not an Iron Chef card. And it's only at a 1x anyways, you could probably easily cut it.
Yeah, well, it's a 70 card deck. There's lots of cuts, right?
But there's lots of cuts, yes.
Cool to see some of these cards pop up nonetheless, right? Cinder Convection showing up. Where the water high block problems, this is a kind of a funny way to deal with that in our Sticky Ball Pitch deck. Same with Giant Ice Wall. These are all high blocks too. These are momentum outlets and high block solutions, so that's kind of cool. It's just a little too all over the place.
Yeah, yep.
All right. Next we have our last Zero 2, I think. This one from Blues Fan 30.
Yep,
yeah.
You're correct. Yep, you're correct. Yep.
All right, this one actually playing his card. The Tape Lash plant from. Oh yeah, you can't see what I'm hovering, and that would have helped.
No, okay, I see.
Yeah,
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Tape Lash kind of neat. It's like a 5 mid 7 stun 1 that disrupts their hand a little bit, and gives your next thing stun 2. It is kind of a neat card for Sarah 2. Other than that, relatively standard fare. We have some Frozen Slash Trout. This one does have 2 Dry Eyes, which is tied for our record number of Dry Eyes among our Sarah 2 lists. Otherwise, so what are we doing?
It's just it's more of the same Sero 2 recipe. So I expect to see a lot of Sero 2s being played at locals after this video comes out, because you know there's so it seems like he's a fan favorite. You know, I mean, like, you know, it seems like he's just a favorite to play.
There's an appeal to like Dry Eyes catching our eye, Tentacle Strike as like a core of a deck somewhere, right? That's a lot of pool clearing and potential damage on your character that's also drawing cards. We're playing the Trap Flex and the Pitch. The Trap Flex, sort of, we saw it in another list, just sort of, here's the lead off. Do you want to block it? Yeah, this is sort of the poke. It does detract from our Frigid Heat Wave a little bit, but what are you going to do? We have the Tape Stream Jab too, which mostly just changes its zone in this deck.
Yep. You
know, again, we have the Dry Eyes. We have 3 Sticky Balls. I like that. but just like this, a little bit less than Pippa's. No cheerleader here. Sticky ball pitch and wait a minute. Actually, no momentum outlets. Actually, 0 aside from sticky ball pitch's own EX. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a little rough. Also, right? This card's kind of just here. Yeah, so that was the 5th.
Could have easily slotted in some cheerleaders. You got what, 61? Sure. Oh yeah, you could easily.
Well, I mean,
cheerleaders on. I mean, move some cards around. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is another. This is a funny. I'm gonna tangent here. This is a funny trend of the MHA format versus all of us old boomers. Is that people are just have gotten into this thing where they just max out on the number of zeros they can run in these decks as a strategy, and it's not.
Yeah.
When the card pool is big enough that you can play really high quality 2-diffs like cheerleader, this is not a good strategy. Right? This is you want it is good to have some zeros, right? It's good to be able to very easily play a foundation after your attack string. It's good to make sure you guarantee 4 on turn 1.
Yep.
But 15 of them is overkill. You do not need 15 of them.
I don't know. I know some people who max out 4x on all of them if they can, and I go, why are you doing that when you can play better cards?
Yeah, I know there's build 6 as a 7-hander dreams and things like that, and when it happens, you're like, that's what I get for playing all these zeros. But what you don't see is like the invisible force of the games you would have won if you were playing an irrefutable instead of a 0 or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
Very true.
Something a little more powerful. Anyway, that aside.
Also, you're not playing irrefutable in a water deck. There's
like 2 decks on this whole thing that have irrefutable on it.
That's minus 10 points to Gryffindor, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's very few irrefutables here, and it's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's sad. It's so sad. Maybe they're all waiting to get their buy a box promos.
All right, next we have this really hilarious Dobby.
Oh yeah, this thing's cool. Go ahead.
All right, so this deck has one mission in life. We are going to get a lot of momentum, and we're going to make the biggest Blitz Rush we can, and we're going to make it a throw. That's all we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
We have Malday to find it, because if we don't find Blitz Rush, we are not winning.
Correct.
Everything else in the deck is there to go into momentum, or to get more momentum. Or to some extent... Yeah, to some extent... Yeah.
All momentum.
Yeah, to some extent protect our Blitz Rush. It is worth saying that, like... We probably get to win some games just by putting +3 damage on all these throws.
Oh sure. Oh yeah.
On these 2 throws, right? Like we might eventually kill them that way, but.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
if
overall
it's
protect the president, and we sort of half segued into this specifically because it's protect the president. It is really bad not to have irrefutable here.
Irrefutable, yeah. you lose to wall cling, it's like instant. Oops.
Yeah, they play wall cling, and we are doing nothing about it. Fighting Spirit will help against something like You're So Obvious.
Yeah.
We're playing League Interviews, sort of the obvious thing that's just kind of here and could be in irrefutable instead.
I mean, I would just take that out, and aiming for number 1, I'd take both those out.
Yeah, One with Nature also a little weird here, although we could go for some honest Dobby strings where we're trying to like land attacks and kill them, I guess, but
sure. Honest Dobby strings, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, really cool and neat to see. Very funny
very
take.
Creative.
Yeah.
Very creative. Yes.
Yeah, there could be a version of this, that's de-cheffified and maybe upgraded in a couple places that you take to a local and sort of meme on people in 3.0 with or something like that. It'd be pretty funny. It might be a fun thing to do in February.
You hear of unfun stuff tournament being won
by Blitz Rush Dobby.
It's broken. There's no way you can beat it. It's impossible. It's like, okay, Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
And last we have a Suyu Asui 2 deck from Cameron Undergust. Tell us about this, Chris.
This is like the opposite to Sero 2. She gets all the damage in the world.
Yes.
So I think it uses Sticky Ball Pitch to get the momentum. It has Tentacle Strike. It uses the Sticky Ball Pitch, and then it uses all the foundations from the ingredients, the Catching a Ride, Mall Day, and Honorable Forfeit. I think, because she kind of does the same thing as Sero 2, correct?
Yeah. So Catching a Ride is cool clear for this list, which is
Yep.
good and makes sense for a deck that's
Yep.
just trying to slam damage on things.
Yep. And then she gets the tentacle strike too. She gets
Yep,
to do that
Tentacle
cool,
Strike
cool
clears.
stuff. And then
We are all ranged because Osprey forces us
Yep.
to be so. We
Correct.
can
We
actually
got the
make
heat-
Tongue
we got the
Smack
heat
live
wave.
to draw a card, which is kind of cool. We don't get the +2 damage, but we get to draw a card. That's neat.
Yeah, she puts 4 damage. She puts 1,000,000 damage on her
It's
attacks
true,
anyway,
it's
so
true.
that 2 damage is nothing. So
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more momentum use other than just Ice Storm.
Yeah, yeah. The running theme with a lot of these sticky ball pitches. This is kind of just there. It's a cool block, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, a lot of people down on Cheerleader. I was surprised. Cheerleader's been very good for me every time I've played it.
Cheerleader's pretty big at my local scene.
Yeah.
Me and River are very, very high on it, and a couple other guys are starting to come around on it because for giving an attack flash couldn't make you live, or
Yeah.
kill an opponent when they can't play any enhances, which is really neat.
Yeah.
You
We
can use
also
it
have some mega water high block problems here. And I look at like this Think Fast and this Gotcha that could just be like anything with a high block and probably be around as good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Any of the like Frozens or Feeling Cutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Also does not have irrefutable force of nature in it. But
yeah. There's like 2 of these.
yeah, I know.
The
I know.
but anyway, yeah, it was cool to see an Osprey too. This almost pairs with like the catching a ride pool clear theme almost better than Sarah because you have so much damage that's going along with this.
Yeah.
As opposed to doing all this just to land more fast moves for 4 damage.
Sure.
So yeah, pretty cool to see, and we went ahead and called this one of our top 5.
5. Oh yeah.
All right, and that is our 12 entries. And so to review, our top 5 was Pippa's Sarah 2, as the Sarah 2 Prime, so to say.
Sarah 2 Prime.
We had No Sleeve Scrubs, Tokoyami 2. We had both of the like bounty characters in here.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, kind of funny how that
cool,
happened.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Berlander's Minoru Mineta 2, a very effective classic throw Mineta.
Mhm.
We had Remolard's Throwsy Death Arms list off of Chaos.
Oh yes.
And we had the Iron Frog because why not? Suyu
That
Asui
Iron
2
Frog,
from
yeah.
Cameron Undergust.
Oh yes. Yeah, it was a really neat top 5. Really thought I was surprised on the Sero 2s, like how many. I really like. There was no Asui 1. I don't know if she actually would work real well with any of the cards.
Yeah.
But which was kind of surprising. Maybe people were just trying different things instead of just the.
Yeah, I think it's always funny which cards people gravitate to with these challenges, right? Because we could have seen a bunch of lists that are like, okay, how I want to use momentum, right? And we had a couple of those. But it seemed like a lot of people looked at Catching a Ride as like, all right, what do we know about Catching a Ride? When it was previewed, everybody said Zero 2. And so that's where people went to first.
Yeah.
But we had some other angles in here, and they were kind of cool to see. So without further ado, the winner of this Iron Chef contest is going to be Remillard with the Chaos Death Arms.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Very neat, relatively well rounded. Like I said, like something I've been considering as a potentially real deck at some point. Maybe needs another set or something, but
yeah.
Very cool deck model. Pretty decent chance to be effective. Good character, makes pretty good use of the cards, has irrefutables in it.
Yeah. I definitely would say like that deck granted it's a chef deck. So
right.
You could probably take that chef deck to a local and probably perform pretty well with it, just because the character himself is very good, and then the chaos in its own right is a really, really good symbol right now. So he's just gonna pound you with throws.
Yeah, and none of the chef cards look horribly out of place here necessarily, right? They're all cards you could consider playing in a deck like this.
Yep.
And that's kind of cool to see, and it all fits together pretty nicely. So congratulations to Remillard. Hit me up either with your mailing info or whatever. We can get the box shipped out to you. Or if you are going to be at the HLC and would like to make arrangements to pick it up there, we can figure that out as well. Just given the time frame.
You could get a picture of you handing the box off to him. That would be amazing.
Okay. I mean, that is a thing that could be done, yes.
It could be done, yes. But you
Yeah.
have to do it outside the HLC days because then it could be considered
Part
as
of Media Day or
collusion.
something. Oh, right,
Do it on
right,
media.
right, right. Yeah.
It's like,
The,
here, I'm gonna give you this box on Saturday. That doesn't.
oh
No,
my
don't do that.
goodness.
Yeah, give it to like in the middle of whatever media day is. Just walk up into his interview and just drop it in front of him and walk off. You know.
Yeah. All right. So, like I said, next one of these, we'll see. It'll probably be some months down the road, probably after League of Villains is out, and if and when I have more stuff to give away, basically, we'll play it by ear.
Cool.
But yeah, until then, I hope people enjoyed these and enjoyed participating. Thanks for everyone who participated in any of these three, and especially people who sent something in for all three. This was really cool to do.
Do you recognize any of the names who have done done all three by chance?
I'm fairly certain Remillard has. I believe Pippa has. I believe Cameron has.
Cool.
I don't want to keep naming names because then I'm gonna forget exactly one person or something.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for coming on, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tim.
Yeah, and we'll hang this up here and go play Final Fantasy 14. All right. Good night, everybody.